Okay, class. Let's continue. Okay, so number 22. Okay, recognition of financial assets. Okay, so what is the core principle? So hinahanap dyan yung core principle for recognition of a financial asset in PFRS 9. Okay, ang sagot dyan, delta. So in accordance with PFRS 9, a financial asset is recognized when and only when the entity becomes a party to the contractual provisions of the instrument. So again, ang financial asset, financial instrument yan. So contract. So when and only when the entity becomes a party to the contractual provisions of the instrument, that is the time to recognize. Okay, so actually, in our previous discussions, hindi natin masyadong na-highlight yung recognition principle. Kasi doon sa mga previous discussions natin, yung date of commitment, yun din ang date of delivery. So kaya walang issue on when to recognize. Now, a problem will arise if the commitment date is different from the date of delivery. Okay? So for example, this one. Let's say, ang date of commitment ay today. Tapos ang date of delivery, let's say lang, after 3 days. Okay? So technically, kailan naging party sa contract ang entity? On the date of commitment. Okay? Kaya generally, okay, recognize dapat yan on the date of commitment. So when the entity becomes a party to the contract. So generally, dito nire-recognize. Okay? So kaya lang, as a matter of exception, meron kasing tinatawag na regular way transaction. So regular way purchase or sale of financial assets. So kapag regular way transaction, okay, merong exception. Okay? At ano ba yung regular way transaction na yan? Okay, this one. That's number 23. A regular way transaction, pwedeng purchase yan or sale, is a purchase or sale of a financial asset under a contract whose terms require delivery of the asset within the time frame established generally by regulation or practice, convention in the marketplace concerned. So whether the transaction is a regular way or not will depend on the regulation or yung nakasanayan na, yung naging convention or practice na doon sa marketplace concerned. Okay? At kapag kasi yan ay regular way transaction, okay, so which is statement is incorrect. So A is a correct statement. A regular way purchase or sale of financial assets is recognized in the case of purchase and derecognized in the case of sale using either trade date or settlement date accounting. The choice of method is an accounting policy. Okay, so matter of policy, kung trade date ba or settlement date accounting. B is a correct statement, that is trade date accounting. And under this method, the financial asset is recognized and derecognized on the date the entity commits to the purchase or sale. So, once nag-commit, i-recognize na or i-derecognize in the case of sale. C is also correct. Ito naman yung settlement date accounting. So, yung financial asset is recognized and derecognized on the date it is what? Delivered. Okay? So kaya yung trade date, commitment date. Yung settlement date, delivery date. So kailan i-recognize? Okay? Commitment date or delivery date? So kapag regular way purchase, matter of policy. Although generally, commitment date, pero kung regular way transaction yan, pwedeng delivery date. So, matter of policy. Incorrect, delta. For purposes of regular way accounting, assets held for trading and designated at fair value through profit or loss. Pareho silang FBTPL. Trading, designated. Pero for regular way transaction purposes, considered sila as separate categories. Kaya mali yung one category. Okay? So, ang requirement ng PFRS 9, dapat isang method lang for each category. Okay, kung let's say ginamitan ng commitment date accounting dun sa lahat ng held for trading, so yung sa isang held for trading, dapat lahat ng held for trading, trade date accounting. Pero kung let's say yung designated, ang gusto ng entity, delivery date or settlement date accounting, so pwede naman kasi magkaiba silang category. So one category, one method only. Okay? Kaya pwedeng sa isang category, trade date accounting. Sa isang category, settlement date accounting. Okay? Basta sa isang category, one method only. Okay? So again kapag not a regular way so kapag hindi regular way transaction yan, dito nire-recognize commitment date. Pero kung regular way transaction yan, option. Okay? To recognize either on commitment date or delivery date. So use either trade or settlement date accounting. Okay, to illustrate, number 24. Okay, here's the background. On June 29, an entity commits itself to buy a financial asset to be classified as FBTPL. Okay, yung contract price, 100,000. That's also the fair value on the date of commitment. So yung date of commitment, June 29. Okay? Now, ang date of settlement, July 2. So, delivery date. Okay? Ang nangyari dito, inabutan ng cut-off date. So, ang end of reporting period, June 30. Okay? Now, ang una muna natin kailangan i-consider dyan kung yan ba ay regular way transaction. Now, in the marketplace concerned, the time frame for delivery of the asset or payment of liability is T plus 3. Transaction date, this one, plus 3 days. So kung ang commitment date, ang transaction date ay June 29, so 29. That's the transaction date. So you add 3 days. So 30. Okay, so 1, 2. So pasok doon sa tinatawag na T plus 3. Therefore, this is a regular way transaction. At dahil regular way transaction yan, matter of policy na whether trade date or settlement date accounting. So considered yan as regular way transaction. So kasi pasok doon sa time frame na T plus 3. So yan yung time frame in the marketplace concerned. Now, ang problema, inabutan ng cut-off ng end of reporting period, June 30. So aside dun sa recognition, kung kailan i-recognize, ang isa pang issue dyan, yung change in fair value from commitment date to delivery date. So dapat ba yan i-recognize? Okay? So ang core principle dyan, once nag-commit as if acquired na yan. Okay? So again as if binili na, as if owned na yan. Okay, on the date of commitment. So kaya yung changes in fair value, recognize yan from commitment date to delivery date. Kasi kung let's say nag-commit na, bibili ng 100,000. Pag nag-increase ang fair value niyan, ang makikinabang dyan yung buyer. Pag nag-decrease ang fair value niyan, ang magsasuffer dyan yung buyer. Kaya once nag-commit si buyer, nabibili niya ng 100, exposed na siya dun sa changes in fair value. Kaya regardless of the method, whether trade date or settlement date accounting yan, Okay, yung change in fair value, recognize yan from commitment date to the date of delivery. Actually, irrelevant yung method doon sa change in fair value. Okay, kasi ang core principle nga, as if acquired na yan on commitment date. Yung trade date, settlement date accounting, relevant lang yun kung kailan i-recognize yung financial asset. Pero yung change in fair value, once nag-commit, exposed na. So kaya dapat i-recognize yan regardless of the method. Okay? So, based on that, A is incorrect. So, ang kailangan natin yung correct statement. As noted already, pasok sa T plus 3. So, this is a regular way transaction. In particular, purchase. At dahil purchase yan, ang issue natin, when to recognize. Okay. So, refer to the solution guide. So, pinrovide ko na dyan yung journal entries on relevant dates. So, let's see if letter B is a correct statement. Using trade date accounting. So, the solution guide. Under this method, the financial asset is recognized on the date of commitment. So, nag-commit June 29. So, ni-recognize na yung equity investment. How much? At fair value. Okay. So, credit, liability. So, yung due to broker, liability yan to the broker. Usually, kapag regular way transaction, ang counterparty dyan, broker. So, yung financial asset at yung financial liability recognized on the date of commitment. So, actually, trade date accounting is the general rule. So, when the entity becomes a party to the contract, the asset is recognized. Okay? Now, June 30, nag-increase yung fair value to 101. So, increase by how much? 1,000. Normal entry na lang yan. Debit the investment, credit gain. So, FB, TPL. Okay? So, again, once nag-commit, exposed na sa changes in fair value. At dahil nga trade date accounting, ni-recognize na yung asset. So, yung changes in fair value, recognize yan from commitment to settlement date. Now, on the date of delivery, nag-increase further yung fair value to 101,500. So, kaya debit, investment, additional increase, 500. Cancel the liability, payable or due to broker, credit the payment, okay, tapos credit gain. So, notice, dahil kinomit na nabibili ng 100, okay, at nag-increase yung fair value to 101,500, kumita na yung buyer dyan by how much? 1,500. Pero dahil inabutan nga ng cut-off date, doon sa 1,500 na yon, yung 1,000 prior period pa. Okay, tapos yung 500 on the date of delivery. So based on that, mali itong 1,500. So magkano lang dapat yung gain? Ito lang dapat, 500 lang. Okay, so B is incorrect. Kasi yung 1,000 dyan dapat kay previous period pa. Okay, again, refer to the solution guide. Paano ko ang ginamit naman? Settlement date accounting. So look at the difference. Under settlement date accounting, this is in effect the exception, i-recognize lang yung financial asset on the date of delivery. Okay? Kaya on June 29, memorandum entry only. So, di ba parte na sa contract on this date? Bakit hindi ni-recognize? As a matter of policy, i-recognize lang kapag na-deliver na. Kaya effectively, yan yung exception. Kasi generally, dito nire-recognize on the date of commitment. Pero notice, bakit ni-recognize yung increase in fair value? So again, ano ang core principle? Okay, as if acquired na yan on June 29. Kasi dahil nag-commit na, nabibili ng 100,000, exposed na si buyer doon sa changes in fair value. Kaya ni-recognize yung gain. Pero dahil wala pa sa buyer yung investment, anong dinebit? Due from broker, receivable from broker. Kasi nandun pa kay broker yung securities. Okay? So credit gain, debit, receivable. Kasi wala pang investment. So pero notice whether trade date or settlement date, yung change in fair value from trade date to settlement date recognized. Okay? Pero dahil settlement date, hindi muna ni-recognize yung investment. Kailan ni-recognize? On the date of delivery. At how much? At fair value. Ito yung fair value on the date of delivery. Kaya mali din itong letter C. So mali yung 100. It should be 101,500. So dapat on the date of delivery, yung fair value on that date, yun ang gagamitin. Credit the payment, cash. Okay. Credit yung receivable, yung due from broker. Tapos yung increase in fair value from June 30 to July 2, credit gain. So the correct statement, delta. So notice whether trade date or settlement date, same lang yung gain na i-recognize. So nagkaroon lang ng difference kung kailan i-recognize yung investment. So pag trade date, date of commitment. Kung settlement date, on the date of delivery. Pero yung changes in fair value, once nag-commit, i-recognize na. Okay, so 24 delta. So regular way purchase of financial asset. So again, hindi problema yan kung same lang ang commitment date at yung delivery date. Pero usually kasi, okay, kapag regular way, magkaiba eh. Yung trade date, yung commitment date at yung date of delivery. So again, kung regular way, policy matter na kung trade date ba or settlement date. Okay, so refer to your lecture notes. Ito yung summary. So when to recognize, when to derecognize, dito relevant yung method. So trade date, commitment date. Settlement date, delivery date. Pero yung change in fair value from trade date to settlement date, okay, irrelevant na dyan yung fair value, irrelevant dyan yung method. So itong trade date, settlement date, dito lang siya relevant. Kung kailan i-recognize, i-derecognize yung financial assets. Pero yung change in fair value, it doesn't matter kung trade date ba or settlement date. Okay? So of course, yung change in fair value, relevant lang yan kung yung asset measured at fair value. Okay? Kung yan ay purchase transaction, yung change na yan in fair value as illustrated earlier, recognize regardless of the method. Again, anong reason? As if acquired na yan on the date of commitment. On the part of the seller, irrelevant na yan. As if sold naman on the date of commitment. Kaya yung change in fair value, irrelevant. Ignore. So again, sa part ng buyer, as if acquired na, date of commitment. So sa part ng seller, sold na on the date of commitment. Kaya yung change in fair value, relevant kay buyer, irrelevant na kay seller. So based on that, paano yung initial measurement? Okay? So, considering na yung changes in fair value ay i-recognize kung yan ay measured at fair value, ignore naman kung yan ay not at fair value. So, initial measurement. Okay. Kung measured yan at fair value, use the fair value kung kailan siya i-recognize. So, dahil trade date accounting yan, i-recognize yan on the date of commitment, use commitment date account, fair value. Kung settlement date naman, ang gagamitin, delivery date, fair value. Pero kung not measured at fair value, since irrelevant yung changes in fair value from trade date to settlement date, whether trade date or settlement date method, ang gagamiting fair value, commitment date. Okay? So, number 25. When settlement date accounting is applied, how should an entity account for any change in fair value of the asset to be received during the period between trade date and settlement date, A is incorrect. The change in value is recognized. For mali yung all. So for financial assets, dapat measured at fair value. Kasi kung not at fair value, katulad ng amortized cost, irrelevant yung changes na yan in fair value. B is incorrect. The change in value is recognized. Yun nga lang, hindi siya for all financial assets. So for financial assets at fair value. C is incorrect. The change in value is not recognized for investments in equity instruments measured at fair value through OCI. So kung naka-fair value yan, whether P&L or OCI, dapat i-recognize yan. So i-recognize ba o hindi yung change in fair value? Depende sa financial asset. Kung naka-fair value siya, whether P&L or OCI, recognize. Pero kung not, let's say amortized cost, not recognized. So ang core principle, delta. Ang accounting dyan, in the same way as it accounts for the acquired asset. So again, as if acquired na on the date of commitment. Kaya yung accounting, okay, so i-account siya as if already owned. Naka-fair value ba? You recognize. Hindi naka-fair value, ignore. Okay, so 25 delta. 26 and 27, this time, sale. So kung purchase, ang issue natin ay kung kailan i-recognize, ito namang sale, kung kailan i-recognize. Again, it will depend on the method. So let's see. Here's the background. On December 28, 2020, the entity enters into a contract to sell an equity security classified as fair value through OCI for its current fair value of 303,000. So date of commitment, December 28. Okay, inabutan ng cut-off. Ang end of reporting period, December 31. Ang date of delivery, January 5. This time, in-specify na sa problem na yan ay regular way transaction. So kanina, ina-analyze pa natin kung pasok sa time frame. Ito, in-specify na. Okay? So again, kapag ang ginamit ay trade date accounting, on this date, de-recognize. Kung ang gagamitin ay delivery date, so i-de-recognize lang on this date. Kaya pag ang ginamit, commitment date or trade date accounting, wala nang i-report na financial asset on this date. Pero kung yan ang ginamit ay settlement date, nasa balance sheet pa rin yung asset at December 31. Okay, so again, another issue, paano yung change in fair value? Dahil yan ay sale transaction, irrelevant. Ignore yan. Kanino relevant yan? Buyer. Irrelevant yan kay seller, regardless of method. Okay? So again yung change in fair value, relevant sa owner yan. Kung as if sold na yan on this date, okay, ignore na yan. Okay? Now, number 26. So ang ginamit dyan, trade date. Number 27, settlement date. So again, refer to the solution guide for your convenience. Ginawan ko na yan ng journal entries. So using trade date accounting, look at the entries. Using this method, de-recognize on the date of commitment. So notice, nung nag-commit, dine-recognize na. Pero notice, since the investment is fair value through OCI, ano mo nang ginawa natin? Ni-remeasure muna. Kasi kung debt investment yan, ina-amortize muna, ina-update, tapos i-remeasure. Why? Kasi yung remeasurement gain na yan, dapat yan sa OCI. Okay? So kaya remeasure, this is the remeasurement entry. Tapos saka i-recognize. Okay? So, after the remeasurement, ito na yung balance niya. Naka-fair value na. So, pagka dine-recognize na, yan, ito na yung balance. Pero dahil hindi pa naman nare-receive yung consideration, debit, receivable. So, due from broker. Receivable yan from broker. So, under this method, wala na sa balance sheet yung investment. Kaya on December 31, yung change in fair value, magkano na siya? 303,600 na. Ignore na yan. Kasi yung increase na yan in fair value, relevant yan kay buyer, hindi na kay seller. Okay, tapos on the date of delivery, debit cash, credit the receivable. Okay, so kung magkano yung napagkasundo ang presyo. Notice, itong 3,000 na ito, dahil sold na yan, okay, realize na yung 3,000. Pero dahil equity investment yan, bawal i-recycle yan sa P&L. Anong pwedeng gawin sa 3,000 na yan? Pwedeng ilipat diretso sa retained earnings. So again, yung pag-account dyan sa unrealized gain or loss na yan, similar to revaluation surplus. Okay? So yung changes nire-recognize sa OCI, ina-accumulate sa equity separately, tapos kapag na-realize na, bawal i-recycle sa P&L, pero pwedeng i-transfer to retained earnings. Now the question in number 26, net amount to be recognized in 2020 comprehensive income. So ito yun. Okay, the unrealized gain of 3,000. So yung fair value adjustment na K of 3,000. So 26, letter C. Okay, 27. Refer again to the solution guide. Entries using settlement date accounting. Again, look at the difference. Okay. On the date of commitment to record the sale, memo entry lang. Kasi i-recognize pa on the date of delivery. Pero notice, ni-remeasure okay, on December 28. Why? Kasi nga, once nag-commit na, as if sold na yan. Kaya ni-remeasure na. Okay? Kasi yung subsequent changes in fair value after the commitment date, irrelevant na. So notice, it doesn't matter kung trade date or settlement date. Okay? Ignore the changes in fair value. Okay? So saan relevant ulit yung trade date tsaka yung settlement date na yan? Kung kailan i-recognize, kung kailan i-de-recognize. Trade date, kailan din i-recognize? Commitment date. Settlement date, date of delivery. Okay? So again, yung 3,000 na yan may be transferred to retained earnings when realized. So ang tanong sa 27, net amount to be recognized in 2021 comprehensive income. So dahil again, dahil nga yan ay as if sold na nung December 28, yung changes in fair value, ignore na yan. Kaya wala ng income na i-recognize okay, in 2021. So answer, delta. So again, yung trade date, settlement date, accounting, kailan lang relevant yan? If the transaction is a regular way. Okay? At paano natin malalaman regular way? Sasabihin sa problem. Pag di sinabi, okay? So, titingnan natin yung time frame. So, kung within the time frame, yung delivery, then regular way. Pero in most cases naman, yung commitment date at yung delivery date pareho lang. Kaya hindi natin masyadong issue yan. Okay? So, kapag same lang yung commitment and delivery date. Okay? So notice okay, unlike FBTPL, kapag fair value through OCI, whether debt or equity yan, bago siya ibibenta, bago siya i-dispose, i-recognize, nire-remeasure muna. Okay, why? Kasi nga yung remeasurement na yan required i-recognize in OCI. Hindi katulad ng FBTPL. So, i-remeasure mo o hindi, okay lang. Kasi nga, pareho namang profit or loss. Pero kung fair value through OCI, kailangan i-remeasure. Kasi yung remeasurement na yun, mandatory in OCI. Okay? At bawal na yung recycling, ha? So, actually, before, nung available for sale pa yan, nire-recycle yan sa PNL. So, dahil doon sa kaya recycling na yun, actually, pwedeng magamit yun to manipulate profit. Okay? So, isa rin niya sa dahilan kaya pinagbawal yung pag-recycle. Kasi dati nung AFS, pwede mong timingan kung kailan mo ibebenta. Pag bumababa yung presyo, i-hold mo muna. Para yung loss mo wala sa PNL, nasa OCI. Pero pag tumaas yung presyo, saka mo ibenta. Okay? Kasi pag nabenta mo na, yung gain, papasok yun saan? Profit or loss. So, pwedeng magamit to manipulate profit. So, tawag doon, gains trading. So, naiwasan na yan with this requirement. Okay? So bawal na yung recycling kapag equity investment. Classified as fair value through OCI. And also, kaya natin to nire-measure para din ma-highlight kasi dapat pinapa-disclose actually. Okay? This one. Kung merong disposal, yan. If an entity derecognized investments in equity instruments measured at fair value through OCI during the period, okay, PFRS 7 requires disclosure of delta, all of this. So kapag ang equity investment dinesignate as fair value through OCI, once dide-recognize yan, kailangan explain. Bakit dinispose? Anong reasons? Magkano yung fair value on the date of the recognition? At magkano yung cumulative gain or loss on disposal? So kaya kailangan talagang i-remeasure yan bago i-dispose. Okay? Kasi dahil dyan sa requirement na yan. And also, kaya remeasure yan kasi yung gain or loss dapat saan yun? OCI. Yung remeasurement gain or loss. OCI dapat yan. Okay, so that's accounting for equity investments. Investments in equity instruments, the investor has no significant influence. Anong tawag sa investment? Financial asset at fair value. By default, through profit or loss. Pero pwedeng i-designate through OCI. Okay? Next, accounting for investments in associates after a short break.